However, there is a lot of repetition. So far what I've read, there is a lot of repetition. I dozed off 15 minutes. I slept for about 15 minutes. 24 now. It's hard for me to say this, but this book is one of the books that you don't judge it by its cover and by the writer of the book, but by the knowledge it gives you. It's 4:20. We're done with the first book. 43, and I just finished reading. I even put a wow on that point because that particular whole thing was a wow. So hey guys, welcome to this channel. But today I'm going to attempt to read 2 books. I'm going to attempt to read 2 books which are all 5 hours each to read, and you're going to come with me and I'll talk through the books and what I think midway through as I'm reading. 12-week year book, just to be precise and correct. It's literally on Audible. I have read about 10 minutes of it. So at the moment the time, it is about 12:42. So I'm going to start reading the book now and maybe check back in an hour and I can tell you what I have learnt about the book. I may have the beginning of this book what I have learnt, but yeah, let's just kind of get started. I do write notes, so if you see me on my phone, I am writing notes, and I write my notes on Notion. So for every book that I read, I have a reading list, and each book has the key notes and things that I have learnt in the book. As I was just reading, I'm just a few minutes in, I landed on something that is absolutely very beautiful, and this is just gonna catch you some coins. If you want to read the 12-week year book but you don't want to buy the book, then you can have a PDF. I've just landed on a PDF as I was listening to the Audible, because sometimes I like to follow the words for what they're saying. So this PDF has got literally the whole entire book, and I was just literally looking at it. This is the whole sort of PDF. I will just put a screen roll here, and I'm listening to the chapters while, you know, listening to the book. So guys, we are, I think, an hour and a half in reading the book. It is currently 2:24 now. 2:24. We started reading about 12:52. Okay, this is what I think about the book. I have written quite a lot of notes on this. This book is centered around the idea of, instead of making 12-year goals and plans and visions and everything that we do, why don't you condense it into 12 weeks? Every 12 weeks you make your 12-week sort of year plan, and after the 12 weeks then you can start again on another one, or you can kind of like track your progress and stuff like that, which is a very good idea, because we have this idea that when we create vision and goals and plans, we just create them and assume that somewhere within the year our brain will be like, oh, I'm meant to be doing this, and subconsciously you do it. But then he says that creates a lazy sort of mentality, and you get to achieve a few things, panic towards the end of the year, November and December, rather than actually having things all set up. So one of the most important things that got me is the execution problem. It explains that 65% of Americans are obese. They understand the fact that they are obese, and they know what they have to do. They know the plans they're eating and all that, but the problem is them actually executing that or actually doing it. So he has this thing where he says that you having knowledge is not the greatest thing that you can ever have. Having knowledge and knowing how to apply it is very, very important. So he starts off by sort of breaking down the importance of a 12-week workbook. He talks about your annual goals and your plans. He says we base our annual goals on failures or success, and we base our performance on our annual goals. However, there is a lot of repetition. So far what I've read, there is a lot of repetition. I dozed off 15 minutes. I slept for about 15 minutes, and I woke up and I was like, where was I? But that doesn't mean that I still don't have the knowledge and the credibility to talk about the book in terms of that, if I may say. We have about 2 hours and 56 minutes left of the book. I don't know if you can see that. We have 2 hours and 56 minutes left of the book. So right now I am going to make myself a cup of tea. You can come with me, and then after that we're going to dive into the next 1 hour. some laundry, otherwise I'm going to spend all day trying to read the book. Changed into something that I felt would be more comfortable because I was sweating in that jumper, so put on a lighter sweater and a lighter vest top. We are ready. We've got our cup of tea as well. I made a peppermint tea because I want it for my belly and my tummy. So we're going to get into the second phase of reading this book. Hopefully, oh, I thought I spilled that. Hopefully it will be the last phase that we are going to be. Wait guys, hold on a minute. There is a quote that actually has got me as I was reading this. It says, "A good plan is better than a perfect plan tomorrow." Let's get back into it. So, beautiful people, what I deserve right now is a nice warm bath and a congratulation and a nice cup of tea again to kind of give me a pat on the back to say well done, because I finished reading the book. It is 4:20. We're done with the first book, so we're going to dive into the second book. We have done with a cup of tea, so we're going to make a new cup of tea, but we need to give pointers on this book. So the overall feeling about this book is that this book is very repetitive. If you realize from the first clip that I explained, I said I have about 2 hours and a half to finish. I've done 2.5, I think. And reason being is that I downloaded that, or the PDF that I told you, and I was scrolling through a PDF and some things were worth skipping through. So, I skipped through some of those things and I got to the points that I wanted, to listen more and learn more about, which I did. It is a very repetitive book. It repeats itself over and over again. You're going to hear accountability 10 times. You're going to hear commitment 100 times. You're going to hear that kind of goals, visions a lot of times. I think this book should have been summarized in a smaller way by not being repetitive, because honestly speaking, the number of times I had the same thing and the same breakdown was just a lot. So that's what drained me a bit. But apart from that, I can tell you the notes that I put down on my Notion that I kind of think could be good for you. So one of the things I say that is that you cannot achieve a life of significance if you still continue to give power away. Make a decision to never be a victim again. Notice when you are among excuses and set for mediocrity, something like that. It says that always notice people who are complainers, excusers, every single time giving excuses, and avoid such people when you're making your own plan. And also sets out a schedule in which you can plan your week. It says block out 15 minutes, schedule 3 hours of strategic blocking, schedule 1 or 2 buffer and books, schedule a breakout block, schedule all additional activities, and then all the other things. The other end part of the book also is more businessy and more company, like when you have a business, when you have a team application and things like that, not on just a personal kind of way. It also talks about a weekly accountability meeting, that every single week you have to set an agenda. You sit down with yourself and have an accountability meeting where you kind of check through everything. It says your results for the 12-week year to date, your weekly execution score, intentions for the coming week, feedback and suggestions, from yourself or from anybody else that you're teaming up with in this sort of way. In this, if you are looking to expand and stuff like that. And the other part of the book that explains to you why sometimes you fail in your this 12-week work week. It also explains things like your pitfalls and things that you not be able to succeed. You don't check weekly. You think that making a 12-week plan would is just not for you. It's just for people who are beginning and stuff like that. It's just very repetitive. I could have skipped through a lot of things. It could have just gone straight to the point. It's a very practical book. It has got practical things that you can actually write in. It has got a planner as well. So what I'm going to do is that in another video where I'm going to be talking about the 12-week work week and how to plan it, watch out for that particular video. I am going to have a schedule in which I'm going to print out all these bits that I have to print out, and I'm going to plan it properly on my laptop, or use Word or Excel or whatever I can use, and try to track everything and see what happens, because I'm planning to embark on my 12-week year. I keep saying work quick type of thing. So that's it. The quotes that I got from this, the other quote that I added onto that was, a good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow, which I did sort of explain. So we're going to jump into book number 2, and this one is The Diary of a CEO. I have read a bit of this book. I'm going to be very honest with you. I think I have read just a portion of it, just that bit here. So I'm going to carry on reading the whole big chunk of it, and I'll let you know how it goes. I may end up making myself some food or some salad. I may end up having a bath while reading this book, but the mission is to complete reading this book today. So help me, God, because it's too much knowledge that is getting into my brain that needs to come out. But let us get started. Time to put the earphones on the side because we are done with the audiobook today. Time to go on Goodreads and update and say I have read the book and give my review as well, but we'll do that later because we need to get into this book. It's already 4:30. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break and then start reading the book and let you know. Hey beautiful people, it is currently 10:43 and I just finished reading The Diary of the CEO, and I put some notes in here. Now the reason that's why it has taken me longer because I had some stuff to do at home and all that, so I kind of pushed the time away, so it's getting late and I can finally tell you what I've learned from this book. But firstly, let's run a bath and then I'll tell you everything that I learned from this book. So finally we have finished reading our second book today, and it was The Diary of the CEO. If you're still with me at this very point, absolutely you are a gem. But we prepared our bath. Now we're gonna get ready and talk about what exactly I've learned from this book. I put some markers in here to remind me sort of what chapters I loved and what chapters I'm going to talk about. I'm going to have a full YouTube video where I'm going to talk about the 8 laws that have transformed me, the 8 laws that I won or that I love, that I will practically use or that I've learned, that I knew, in a full-on video. So keep your eyes peeled for that particular video because it will be a very informative video. But for now, we're just going to review the book as an overall experience and reading the book. I've had this book for quite some time, almost coming to a year, and I've never read the book. I was just lazy to kind of read the book because of my perspective of, you know, kind of who he is as a person. He just appeared, Steve Ballard, that's what I'm talking about. He just appeared on the internet from nowhere, in my opinion, and yeah, and all of a sudden he's a multi-millionaire, and I'm just like, okay, doesn't absolutely make sense. But the book comprises of 32 laws to help you. Oh, it says 33 laws of business and life, but there were 32. I mean, I think there must have been 33, the last part of it. So 33 laws of business and life, which is absolutely true because the first bit is life and then the last bit of it towards the end, it is about business, which is so important if you're someone who wants to start a business or creative, or you work in an industry whereby you market and do all those kind of things. This book would be an absolutely good gem. It's an easy read. It's a very, I don't understand how to say, it's a very nice, easy book that you can kind of read, highlight. I've done so much to this book. I think it's hard for me to say this, but this book is one of the books that you don't judge it by its cover and by the writer of the book, but by the knowledge it gives you. So let me talk about some of the laws that I really liked. I love the law that is like never compromise about yourself story. And in here it's talking about Chris Eubank. And Chris Eubank is a boxer. If you do not know who he is, I think, yeah, he is a boxer. And Chris Eubank, he was asking Chris Eubank, is there a time where you felt like you wanted to give up? And he said, there are times that I felt that I wanted to give up, but me giving up would have made it even worse. He talked about times when he was in the gym and he's running on a treadmill and his calves are hurting him so much, to an extent that he said, you know what, I'm gonna give up. But he said, if I can give up on this treadmill with this pain, it means when I enter the ring and my opponent just hits me a little bit, I'll give up, because that's the limits that I've set to my pain. And in that, it's like, that's his story. The things we say to ourselves, or the things that we do when people are not watching, are so important. For example, when you're at the gym and you're working out, no one is checking up on you and timing you, so it's easy for you to reach a point whereby you feel so much pain and you're like, you know what, I give up on this, so I'm gonna go away. But it's just like, your own story is a very good story. So there's something that I did highlighting here that I sort of want to explain. This particular part of the laws, it's really a good one, because it says that the perspective of what people have about you sometimes determines your excellence or how you succeed. I even put a wow on that point, because that particular whole thing was a wow, and I put here YouTube notes, because yeah, we're gonna be making a whole YouTube channel about it. Which takes me to this other law, which is law 16, and it says use the Goldilocks to your advantage. So the Goldilocks, from what I've got from the book, is kind of like, if you want someone to buy a particular product, you give him choices of products, but you always create friction between all the other products, and that particular product that you want them to buy, there is less friction in that product. If it makes sense, it's like making offers better than the others. So a good example was that Steve was trying to buy a house, and he was showed the first house. I think the first house was very expensive and very small. The other one was very spacious but a little bit higher. But the particular house that this salesperson wanted him to buy was cheaper and had slightly a little bit more space than the others, but he showed him all the other ones that he did not want to show him the one that he actually wants, and then he ended up buying it. He messaged the guy that sold him the car and he said to him, you know what, did you use the Goldilocks effect? And then the guy was like, you know, he said to him, let me get the quote that he said to him if I can find it. He said to him, he replied to him and he was like, never show people only one option, kind of thing, like in a joking way, but that's literally what it is. I'm just like, wow. So I'm wowed by this book. I'm not gonna lie to you, I absolutely love, I need light pointing at me from here, I absolutely love this book. I would definitely recommend this book to anybody if you want to learn anything in terms of strategy, branding, things to do with your life. There is a point here at which let me just explain to you why I said this book is very good. There is a chapter, I can't remember the law that he explains about, but he's basically talking about taking care of your health without him saying self-love and self-care. He says the foundation of everything is literally yourself, and you're the foundation in which everything can run. If you take away anything else, you take away the girlfriend, you take away the house, you take away everything, the foundation and the basis of everything is still your own health. So it's such a good written book. It's such a nice book. I would recommend anybody to get this book. So I'm going to go and have my bath and enjoy myself. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. All right.